Okay, so now let's look at some of the count functions. So in this section, we will actually learn the count function. There are different count functions available. One is count itself, then we have the distinct count, then we have the count a. So let's see how we can use them. Okay, so let's say in sales return, and if you remember, we have created a returned quantity measured. So what return quantity, let's quickly go back to our data and see what this return quantity does. So we have a return quantity column. Okay, so this return quantity measure is basically the sum of this column. Now we actually want to find out how many returns are there in this table. So you see, if I just click on this and in below, you will see that 1809 rows that are available and 476 distinct values are there. Okay, so what we are now trying to do is count the number of rows here. So what we will do, we will try to create the how many returns that were happened. So I will create a new measure for that one, and in this one I will write, let's say, again total returns, let's say total returns, and then here I will use a function called count. Simple count is there, and I will count. Actually, in count function you can take whatever you want. Okay, so in this case maybe I want to count the return date. So if I take return date, if I take product key, it won't really matter because it is actually ultimately counting the number of rows itself. So if I take now the return date here, return date from return table, close the bracket, hit enter, and then let's quickly see how what is the overall value of this. If I hover 1809, and if I go back to the data, you see 1809 rows are there in this data, right? So we have the count of returns now, and then what I will do, I will put this return on here. If I put it here, you will see this value. So these are the number of returns by product category. Now, what I will do is I will use the count a function as well. So what happens instead of this total, instead of this count, if I use count a. So what count a does is basically if your data has any blank value, the count a will not count those blank values, where the count function itself will actually count those blank values. So count a, just to remember, count a doesn't count the blank values. If you in your data you have some blank values, blank rows, then count a will not count. So let's see if that makes any changes. So see now, I mean these values are not changed, so we can actually use count a as well. And there is another function that is count rows, which basically, I mean these are all same. So what we can do, we can count the rows, and instead of the column here we only provide the table name. So I will just do this and I will hit enter, and let's see what happens. You see, this value still didn't change. So this is how you can actually create the count functions. Now I will go back to the data again, and let's say I want to go to the product table and I want to find out how many distinct products are there. So if I just click on this product name column, you see there are 293 rows, and out of 293 rows we have 293 distinct values. Okay, so this is pretty much same. Let's look at the model name. Let's see if we can find anything. Yeah, so let's say we want to find out how many distinct model names are there. So in that case, what we will do is we will create a function that says the distinct count. So there is a function already. So what we are going to find out is the distinct model name. So in the distinct model name, what we will do, we will use the distinct count function. See, there is a distinct count function, so we will use that one, and then in this we will actually take the model name as our column and then close the bracket, hit enter. So measure is created. Let's go and see what is the values that it is giving. So I will just click in here, instead of this one, I will take the distinct model name on the y-axis, and let's say I want to take the um, product name on the x-axis. Let's see what happens. Okay, so each product name has, okay, so this is not possible. So let's try to take something else. Let's say, what do we have? We have product size. Let's see if product size works. Yeah. So we have different product size, and you can see that if the product size is 0, there are 82 distinct model names. So this is how you can interpret this graph. And distinct basically means it will not double count any value. So let's say a name is appearing twice, it will only count it as once. Whereas the count A and count rows, they will count them as twice. So that's about this, and we will see you in the next lecture. Thanks for watching.